Then, hand in hand, they left that solemn place, full now of mute, unusual memory, to the green distance of their sylvan home, returning slowly through the forest's heart. Topped by a flaring multitude of lights, a great resplendent company arrived. In front, King Dharmatsena walked, no more blind faltering limbed, but his far-questing eyes restored to all their confidence in life, took seeingly this imaged outer world by him, that Queen and Mother's anxious face, came changed from its habitual burdened look.
So after their long journey through the inner worlds, down into death's realm and up into the heavens, the supramental realms, Savitri and Satyavan have come back to earth, come back to their bodies, and have awakened in the forest. Satyavan's life restored, and they have conversed, and Satyavan has told that he has understood that they had traveled in these strange worlds together, and that Savitri had pursued him and recovered his soul and brought him back to life. And he's recognized in Savitri this change that she has undergone during this period of time. Back on 718, he said, "What high change is in thee, O Savitri? Bright ever thou wast, a goddess still and pure, yet dearer to me by thy sweet human parts. Earth gave thee, making thee yet more divine." And then a little further down, he says, "But now thou seemest almost too high and great for mortal worship. Time lies below thy feet, and the whole world seems only a part of thee. Thy presence, the hushed heaven I inhabit, and thou lookest on me in the gaze of the stars. Yet art the earthly keeper of my soul. My life a whisper of thy dreaming thoughts, my morns a gleaming of thy spirit's wings, and day and night are of thy beauty part. So then they begin to return. They get up and begin to walk away out of the forest. The darkness is approaching, the darkness of the evening, so they want to get back. And as they go, Savitri says, let us go back, for eve is in the skies. Now grief is dead, and serene bliss remains, the heart of all our days forevermore. Lo, all these beings in this wonderful world, let us give joy to all, for joy is ours. For not for ourselves alone our spirits came out of the veil of the unmanifest, out of the deep, immense, unknowable, upon the ignorant breast of dubious earth, into the ways of laboring, seeking men. Two fires that burn towards that parent sun, two rays that travel to the original light. To lead man's soul towards truth and God, we are born. To draw the checkered scheme of mortal life into some semblance of the immortal's plan, to shape it closer to an image of God, a little nearer to the idea divine. And I think I will continue from there. We had gone just a little bit further, but let's start at the top of page 721, because that's kind of the end of her monologue there, and now they begin to go back. So, Sudanya.
She closed her arms about his breast and head, as if to keep him on her bosom's warm. For ever through the journeyings of the years, so for a while they stood entwined their kiss, and a passion's trance embrace a meeting point. In their commingling spirit, one forever, two-souled, two-bodied for the joys of time. Then hand in hand they felt that solemn place, full now of mute, unusual memories, to the green distance of their sylvan home, returning slowly through the forest heart. Round them the afternoon to evening change, light slipped down to the brightly sleeping birds, and the birds came back, winging to their nest, and day and night leaned to each other's arms. Now the dark, shadowy trees stood close around, like dreaming spirits and delaying night, The grey-eyed, pensive evening heard their steps, and from all points the cries and movements came of the four-footed wanderers of the night approaching. Then a human rumor rose, long aligned to their solitary days, invading the charmed wilderness of the leaves, once sacred to secluded loneliness, with a violent breaking of its virgin sleep.
Thank you. Let's pause there. In that first part, Sri Aurobindo speaks of Savitri's and Satyavan's oneness and yet their duality. So they embrace, but that embrace is also symbolic of something deeper, passion tranced embrace, a meeting point in their commingling spirits forever, one forever. So there's this underlying oneness between them, and then two-souled, two-bodied for the joys of time. And I think somehow that points to that purpose of the division of the one divine into the soul and nature, and for the enjoyment of that, for the joys of time. In a way, it's the underlying purpose of the creation itself. So then they begin to return. And then we see also this kind of recurring theme brought out in that last line, and day and night lean to each other's arms. And we see that kind of that theme repeated throughout the poem. These two aspects of the existence of light and darkness. Again, there's this kind of underlying unity between them. Here they're leaning to each other's arms. So they hold each other, and the night holds the day within it. It holds the dawn. Savitri is also representative of that dawn. And death is kind of representative of the night in the poem. And so that theme is kind of played out through the poem, the relation between the two. And then we see that when she eventually conquers, vanquishes death, he becomes this being of light. He transforms rather than just disappears or something. And then that same idea is a little bit continued after the break there. Now the dusk shadowy trees stood close around like dreaming spirits, and delaying night, the gray-eyed pensive evening heard their steps. So here is that a kind of a meeting point between the two, the gray evening as the two embrace each other, the day and night. And then we hear the sounds of animals approaching, and then of people approaching. Then a human rumor rose, long alien to their solitary days. So they hear some commotion of human voices and movement through the forest. So we continue, Margaret.
Through the screen dusk it deepened still, and there neared, floating of many voices and the sound of many feet, till on their side broke in, as if a colored wave upon the eye, the brilliant strenuous crowded days of men. Topped by flaring multitudes of lights, a great resplendent company arrived. Life in its ordered tumult wavering came, bringing its stream of unknown faces, thronged with gold-fringed headdresses, gold-broidered robes, glittering of ornaments, fluttering of hems. Hundreds of hands parted the forest boards. Hundreds of eyes searched the entangled glades. Calm white-clad priests, their grave-eyed sweetness brought, strong warriors in their glorious armor shone. The broad-hoofed steeds came trembling through the wood. In front, King Tumacena walked, no more blind, faltering limbed, but his far-questing eyes, restored to all their confidence in light, took seeingly this imaged outer world. Firmly he trod, with monarch step, the soul.
Thank you. So as this crowd of people come approaching through the forest, it's interesting how Sri Aurobindo describes it. Again, I think using some symbolism here of suggesting something deeper. Now we have to recall that Savitri has conquered death. She's brought down this supramental light, this transformation in a way of onto the earth. She's brought this supramental light down, conquered death. So now we see this life, in a way it seems it's transformed, it's changed. But it's still humanity. The brilliant, strenuous, crowded days of man, topped by a flaring multitude of lights. A great resplendent company arrived. Life in its ordered tumult, wavering, came, bringing its stream of unknown faces, thronged with gold-fringed headdresses, gold-embroidered robes, glittering of ornaments, fluttering of hems. So a little bit of symbolism here with the multitude topped with the flaring multitude of lights. So it suggests kind of a higher light coming into mind, let's say, and ordering life, bringing some kind of order into the movement of the life. And then gold-fringed headdresses, gold-embroidered robes. This gold is typically for Sri Aurobindo symbolic of this supramental realm. So perhaps the humanity is colored by that, is at least fringed by it, is affected by it. Huh? Excuse me? Yeah, it's brought down into them and into nature generally. I don't know that the humanity is bringing it into nature, but they have been somehow affected by it, by this descent of the supramental light and force. What? So how far are you going back? Where are you? Hmm. Screened, it's like there's a veil, something that veiled. So there's some light passing through, but it's like the forest, also the growth of the forest is screening. You can't see exactly through all of this green foliage of the people in the crowd coming. Through the screen dusk. Okay, and so through the screened dusk. So the darkness is also approaching, and that's also kind of hiding this approach of people. No? Through the screen dusk. Screen the film. I don't think so. It's kind of the dusk, the evening is, yeah. Yeah. And then he also describes kind of some different types of people in that group. Calm, white-clad priests, their grave-eyed sweetness brought, and then strong warriors in their glorious armor shone, and the proud hooved steeds came trampling through the wood. We see the steeds, the horses, are also kind of symbolic of this force of nature. Aswapati was kind of the lord of the horse, right? He is this tapasya energy. So we see, I think, in this kind of changed humanity in a way, something of the force and the light and the sweetness of the divine coming. And then in front, King Dyumatsena walked, no more blind, faltering limbed, but his far questing eyes restored to all their confidence in light. Took seeingly this imaged outer world, firmly he trod with monarch step the soil. And so perhaps it's appropriate we just revisit the author's note at the beginning where Sri Aurobindo describes Dyumatsena, Lord of the shining hosts, Father of Satyavan, is the divine mind, here fallen blind, losing its celestial kingdom of vision, and through that loss, its kingdom of glory. So he represents the mind, but fallen into the human level and becoming blind as a result of that fall. But now his sight, his vision is restored along with his force that comes with it. Yeah, but he uses the term after Lord of the shining hosts. So I suppose it's that. So we'll continue. Would you like to read?
By him that queen and mother's anxious face came changed from its habitual burdened look, which is its drooping strength of tired toil, had borne the fallen life of those she loved. Her patient paleness wore a pensive glow, like evening's subdued gaze of gathered light. Departing, which foresees sunrise, her child, sinking in quiet splendors of her sky. She lives awhile to muse upon that hope, that the brilliance of her rich receding gleam. A thoughtful prophecy of lyric dawn, her eyes were first to find her children's forms. But at the version of the vision of the beautiful twain, the air awoke perturbed with scaling cries, and the swift parents hurried to their child, their cause of life now who had given him breath, possessed him with their arms, then tenderly cried Dyumatsena, chiding Satyavan. The fortunate gods have looked on me today. A kingdom seeking came, and heaven's race.
Thank you. Let's pause there. So after describing the change that's come to King Dyumatsena, his vision restored, taking confident steps, Sri Aurobindo describes the mother. Now, the mother isn't given kind of this clear symbolic reference in the author's note at the beginning, but we saw earlier when Narad, the heavenly sage, had revealed that Satyavan would die, that the mother kind of pleaded with both Narad to, help in some way or convince Savitri or to change Savitri's mind and choose another instead of Satyavan. She had this kind of human heart that suffered. Oh, yeah, you're right. This is, yeah, I'm mistaken. This is Satyavan's mother. So, yeah. But she perhaps has also kind of carried this kind of same quality in the sense of she's kind of has borne this fate of Satyavan and Dumatsena. She's kind of always carried this heavy burden, which he says, which in its drooping strength of tired toil had borne the fallen life of those she loved. So she had also supported King Dumatsena in his blindness. But now she also has changed, and her patient paleness wore a pensive glow, kind of a more thoughtful, kind of concentrated glow, like evening's subdued gaze of gathered light, departing, which foresees sunrise her child. Here again, we get a little bit of this symbolism of the evening, or the darkness and the light and the morning, like evening's subdued gaze of gathered light departing, which foresees the sunrise her child. So she's kind of representing that evening of the day, the darkness approaching, but now she's looking ahead towards the dawn, the coming light. She's not just kind of faltering and bearing the burden of the night, but looking ahead optimistically towards the future. Which foresees sunrise her child, sinking in quiet splendors of her sky. She lives a while to muse upon that hope, the brilliance of her rich receding gleam, a thoughtful prophecy of lyric dawn. Sunrise. Sunrise here, I would say, is a noun. The sunrise. Sunrise, her child. So her child is another term for sunrise. And these are the child of the evening, of the departing evening. So evening gives birth to the dawn. And she's musing upon that dawn. And she's thinking of the brilliance of her rich receding gleam, the light that's fading, and its brilliance, so it fades, but it returns and it comes back. So her eyes were first to find her children's forms. She sees the two first. But then the air awoke perturbed with scaling cries, and the swift parents hurrying to their child, their cause of life, now who had given him breath. Scaling, I think going from level to level, scaling the height. So the cries are growing louder, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that, I mean, Dumatsena was described with uh, what, far questing eyes, but he doesn't see them first. She does with her heart, kind of, I think, like you say. So then they grab, hug their children, and then Dumatsena says, "The fortunate gods have looked on me today. A kingdom seeking came, and heaven's rays." So apparently, the kingdom was returning to him, seeking him, and his light, his heavenly mind and light has returned. But then he continues, and
But where was thou? Thou hast tormented gladness with fear's dull shadow, O my child, my life. What danger kept thee for the darkening woods? Or how could pleasure in her way forget that useless orbs without thee are my eyes, which only for thy sake rejoice at light? Not like thyself was this done, Savitri, who ledst not back thy husband to our arms, knowing with him beside me only his taste in food, and for his touch evening and morn I live content with my remaining days. But Satyavan replied with smiling lips, "Lay all on her, she is the cause of all. With her enchantments she has twined me round. Behold, at noon, leaving this house of clay, I wandered in far-off eternities, yet still a captive in her golden hands. I tread your little hillock called green earth, and in the moments of your transient sun, live glad among the busy works of man."
thank you. So after revealing that the fortunate gods had looked on him and the kingdom returned, and heavens raised, the light, his vision restored. And then he says, "But where wast thou? Thou hast tormented gladness with fear's dull shadow, O my child, my life." So that joy that he was experiencing has been tainted, tormented by fear because of where are Satyavan and Savitri, what has happened. They entered the forest and now they haven't returned. What danger kept thee for the darkening woods? What danger did you come upon that kept you here in the woods? Or how could pleasure in her ways forget? Or perhaps you were just enjoying yourself so much that you forgot that my eyes are useless without you to look upon, that useless orbs without thee are my eyes, which only for thy sake rejoice at light. And then he turns to Savitri. Not like thyself was this done, Savitri, who leddest not back thy husband to our arms, knowing with him beside me only is taste in food, and for his touch, evening and morn, I live content with my remaining days. Why didn't you lead him back to our arms, Savitri? This is not like you. You know we need Satyavan. And then Satyavan replies with smiling lips, lay all on her. She is the cause of all. So he's saying, yes, you're right. It's all her fault. She's done it. With her enchantments, she has twined me round. She has held me, entwined me, tied me up with her enchantments. Behold, at noon, leaving this house of clay, I wandered in far-off eternities. Yeah, she has twined him. That means she's kind of wrapped him entwined. It's like tied with rope. She's held him back, tied him up so that he could not return, or that he could not actually, that his soul could not depart. Yeah, I mean, she was following in pursuit and she held onto his soul and would not leave him to go into death alone. But with her enchantments, yes, it's something with her spiritual force held him still as he was going through this darkness. So he says that at noon, leaving this house of clay, leaving his physical body, I wandered in far-off eternities, yet still a captive in her golden hands. So that's this entwining. He was held captive by her. And I tread your little hillock called green earth, and in the moments of your transient sun, live glad among the busy works of men. Well, he's saying, yes, that I left this body, traveled in these strange realms into death, but was held captive by Savitri. So I didn't disappear into that realm. I was brought back. Still I tread your little hillock called green earth. Still I'm here. I've returned to earth and live in the moments of your transient sun. I still live in this time, not these far off eternities. Eternity is endless time or timelessness. So that there, in the heavens, it was a kind of a timelessness. I don't know. Yeah, so he's referring to this travel through these inner worlds, into death, into this supramental worlds. Their time was not like here on earth. Yeah, it happened at noon. Yeah, they had this long journey, but on earth it was several hours had passed. Maybe 5, 6 hours. So anyway, now she has kept me, she has saved me from death, is the import of it. So then let's continue. Then all eyes.
Then all eyes turned their wondering looks where stood a deepening redder gold upon her cheeks. With a lower lip leads the noble lovely child, and one consenting thought moved every breast. What gleaming marvel of the earth or skies stands silently by human Sattvan to mark a brilliance in the dusk of eve? If this is she of whom the world has heard, wonder no more at any happy change. Each easy miracle of felicity, of our transmuting heart, the alchemy is. Then one spoke there who seemed a priest and says, O woman soul, what light, what power revealed, working the rapid marvels of this day, opens for us by thee a happier age. Her lashes fluttering upwards gather in to a vision which had scanned immortal things, rejoicing human forms for their delight. They claim for their deep childlike motherhood the life of all these souls to be her life. Then falling, veil the light, low she replied. awaken to the meaning of my heart, that to feel love and oneness is to live, and this, the magic of our golden change, is all the truth I know or seek, O says, wondering at her and her too luminous world. Westward they turn in the fast gathering night.
Thank you. Let's pause there. So after Satchivan explains that Savitri has brought him back from death, back to life, then all turn to look at Savitri. And Savitri stands quietly there, a deepening redder gold upon her cheeks. Yeah, the gold is there, a little bit supramental light perhaps, but the redder is a little bit of blushing, I think, from everyone looking at her. But maybe a little bit of physicality or something in there too. Maybe a little physicality also, because the red is usually symbol of matter. They said this golden color. Yeah. Well, I think especially perhaps that supramental coming into matter. And then, so she's standing there lowering her eyes. And then one consenting thought moved every breast. Yeah, agreeing. Everyone had the same thought, kind of. Everyone agreed with that thought. What gleaming marvel of the earth or skies stands silently by human Satchivan to mark a brilliance in the dusk of eve? Well, she's perhaps also changed. Yeah, I mean, he's described this gold and reddish hue on her face. So this, she's described with this gleaming marvel of the earth or skies. Again, this kind of earth, combination of earth and perhaps this supramental light joining in her, marking the brilliance in the dusk of eve. If this is she of whom the world has heard, wonder no more at any happy change. Eat. What? Yeah, I think perhaps there was something earlier that she was already known or throughout because she was a remarkable person, a woman before. So, yeah, there was a reference to that earlier of how she was known widely. But perhaps something more might be here, I don't know. But he suggests now each easy miracle of felicity, of happiness, of her transmuting heart, the alchemy is. She is the one who transmutes through her alchemy. She transmutes this lead into gold, matter into gold, or into the supramental. So it suggests this kind of transforming force that she has. It's suggestive of the Divine Mother also. Well, yeah. Yeah, she was already known. But whether he's maybe suggesting something more here that this change that has come about, I mean, this Dumatsena has undergone this miraculous change, and all of a sudden this kingdom has returned. So, I mean, they're kind of saying, now we can understand kind of Savitri is here. She is behind all of this. And then one spoke there who seemed a priest and sage. O woman's soul, what light, what power revealed, working the rapid marvels of this day, opens for us by thee a happier age. So he perceives this miraculous change that has occurred with King Dumatsena and the kingdom coming back, but also something perhaps more than that. A new age is come. And it references back to this larger supramental change that is coming on the earth. And then her lashes fluttering upwards gathered in to a vision which had scanned immortal things. So she closes her eyes, they kind of inwardly rise, looking upwards to a vision, to a higher immortal vision, and then rejoicing human forms for their delight. They claimed for their deep childlike motherhood, the life of all these souls, to be her life. Then falling, veiled the light. So she kind of looks up towards the supramental light, but then rejoices, brings all of humanity into that vision, enfolded in that light of the supermind, claimed for their deep childlike motherhood, the life of all these souls to be her life. Yeah, and she's joined with all of these other beings. It's not for her, she said. We haven't gone, to these realms for ourselves alone, but to uplift humanity. Right? She had told Satyavan just earlier, not for ourselves alone have we done this. She claims the life of all these souls to be her life. Then falling, veiled the light, and lo, she replied, veiled the light, as she her eyes, first she looks up towards this supramental light. She enjoys, or she claims, all of these souls in that light, and then her eyes fall down again. And perhaps some of that light is veiled when she returns, looking back to the human beings around her. Yeah, something like that. So now she replies, yeah, it's interesting. I don't know for sure, but they claimed for their deep childlike motherhood. So motherhood, we understand. I mean, she is kind of embraces all in her motherhood, but childlike, somewhat, I don't know, there's some kind of freedom and lightness in that too. It's not a kind of a heaviness, a heavy responsibility or something light that she carries freely. Perhaps, I don't know what else. Mhm. And I think also of something of Krishna in that. I mean, she descended with Krishna. Krishna also, I don't know, maybe even was described at that place, this kind of child. Anyway, he's often described as the child. So she descended kind of one with him. They descended together, right? Yeah, that's the easy explanation. But whether there's something otherwise suggestive, more deep, symbolic, I'm not sure. But then she gives this 4-line answer, which is kind of a culmination, but also just put very simply, awaken to the meaning of my heart, that to feel love and oneness is to live. And this the magic of our golden change. is all the truth I know or seek, O sage. Yeah, I mean, if we analyze it, he speaks of love and oneness as the key to this divine life, we could say. Well, no, not exactly. I mean, love is a kind of a yearning or self-giving with the intent of oneness, right? To join with the other. So it leads to oneness. Yeah. Yeah. Or maybe it also derives from oneness in a way also. Yeah, the golden change, that's yeah. Mm. Yeah, it's through love, like you're saying, through love that this oneness comes. And the oneness with all brings this change, this supramental change. Yeah, ultimately, this is a poem, of the supramental change of the life divine, right? And that's the change that they have undergone. She has conquered death. She has done this not for herself and Satchivan alone, but for humanity as a whole, because also they have this love and oneness with humanity. Well, with the Supreme and with humanity, and all is joined in oneness, and that's the magic of the golden change. Mm. Yeah. But here, yes, the key to the life divine, we could say, is love and oneness. So the people around her wonder at her and her two luminous words, and westward they turned in the fast gathering night. So the night is approaching. So we read the last. I'll read the last. Okay, I'll read the last. Excuse me.
No, you lead. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I'll read.
This, yeah.
Okay. So, from the entangling verges, freed they came into a dimness of the sleeping earth, and traveled through her faint and slumbering plains. Murmur and movement and the tread of men broke the night's solitude. The neigh of steeds rose from that indistinct and voiceful sea of life, and all along its marchings swelled the rhyme of hooves, the chariot's homeward voice. Drawn by white manes upon a high-roofed car, in flare of the unsteady torches went, with linked hands, Satyavan and Savitri. Hearing a marriage march and nuptial hymn, where waited them the many-voiced human world. Numberless, the stars swam on their shadowy field, describing in the gloom the ways of light. Then while they skirted yet the southward verge, lost in the halo of her musing brows, night, splendid with the moon dreaming in heaven, in silver peace, possessed her luminous reign. She brooded through her stillness on a thought, deep guarded by her mystic folds of light, and in her bosom nursed a greater dawn. The end. So we see a little bit more of some of the symbolism in the description of the night, the sleeping earth, the murmur and movement and tread of men. So, and then the neigh of steeds rose from that indistinct and voiceful sea. It's kind of interesting little phrase there of these, again, the steeds representing the force of light and tapasya rising from the indistinct and voiceful sea of life. And all along its marchings swelled the rhyme of hooves, the chariot's homeward voice. Right, they're returning now with these horses and a chariot through the forest, but already they're moving through the plains. They're traveling outside this forest now. They're going beyond this forest. They lived in the forest hermitage, but now they're kind of departing also from that, I think. But we can just, as we read some of these images, think also a little bit of their potential symbolic significances. The hooves, again, this force of light and of life and tapasya, the rhyme of hooves, the chariot's homeward voice, going homeward, drawn by white manes upon a high-roofed car. In flare of the unsteady torches went, with linked hands, Satyavan and Savitri, hearing a marriage march and nuptial hymn. And where waited them the many-voiced human world. So they're going back to the world, away from this quiet hermitage. Yeah. So the life has changed, and Dumatsena's kingdom has been restored. So now I think they maybe go back to the palace where he had reigned earlier. And then the stars swam on their shadowy field against the darkness of the sky, describing in the gloom the ways of light. I mean, it might often even kind of suggest some kind of something of astrology or something, the ways of light or something, the movement of the stars against the night, describing the ways of light. Yeah, now they're traveling south, away from the musing brows, I think, of the hills. And night is splendid with the moon dreaming in heaven. Again, the night is lit by the moon in its silver peace. Yeah, the halo of her musing brows. Yeah, I was thinking that's what I was saying, this musing brows. I think it suggests the hills, the surrounding hillside. So sometimes he would use brows as referring to the hillsides covered with, I don't know, grass or foliage or something. Or no, maybe here, no, maybe he's referring instead to the night. Lost in the halo of her musing brows, night, splendid with the moon, dreaming in heaven. So it might be also the halo of the moon in the night. Yeah, the brows, the dark fringe of the night around the halo of the moon, something like that, perhaps. I mean, sometimes the moon gives a halo. There's this halo of light around it. But the night, again, he describes, she brooded through her stillness on a thought, deep guarded by her mystic folds of light, and in her bosom nursed a greater dawn. So it's interesting here, in a way, the night holds within its mystic folds the light. The night holds within it the light. And it's musing, or it's nursing a greater dawn to come. In the beginning of the poem, we started with the dawn. In the end of the poem, we end with the dawn. Okay, stop there. So next time we'll begin again. Yeah, just a little over 4 years. I think maybe we started the beginning of February or end of January in 22. So about 4 years and 4 years and 4 months or 5 months. Yeah, usually I think 4 to 5 years in between.
Then, hand in hand, they left that solemn place, full now of mute, unusual memory, to the green distance of their sylvan home, returning slowly through the forest's heart. Topped by a flaring multitude of lights, a great resplendent company arrived. In front, King Dharmatsena walked, no more blind faltering limbed, but his far questing eyes restored to all their confidence in life, took seeingly this image outer world by him, that Queen and Mother's anxious face, came changed from its habitual burdened look. And swift parents, hurrying to their child, their arms of life now, who had given him breath, possessed him with their arms, then tenderly cried Umasena, tidings secure. The fortunate gods have looked on me today, a kingdom-seeking king, and heaven's grace. But where wast thou? Thou hast tormented gladness with fear's dull shadow, O my child, my life. Not like thyself was thus done, Savitri, who let's not back thy husband to our arms. But Satyavan replied with smiling lips, lay all on her. She is the cause of all. With her enchantments she has twinned me round. Behold, at noon, leaving this house of clay, I wandered in far-off eternity, yet still a captive in her golden hands. I tread your little hillock called green earth. Then one spoke there, who seemed a priest and said, "O woman's soul, what light, what power revealed, working the rapid marvels of this day, opens for us by thee a happier age." Her lashes fluttering upward gathered into a vision which had scanned immortal things. Then, falling veiled the light, how she replied, "Awakened to the meaning of my heart, that to feel love and oneness is to live, and this the magic of our golden chain is all the truth I know or see, O sage." Wondering at her and her two luminous words, westward they turned in the fast gathering night. Drawn by white manes upon a high road car, in flare of the unsteady torches went, with linked hands Satyavan and Savitri, hearing a marriage march and nuptial hymns, where waited them the many-voiced human world. Numberless the stars swarm on their shadowy feet, describing in the gloom the ways of light. Then, while they skirted yet the southward world, lost in the halo of her musing brow, night splendid with the moon dreaming in heaven, in silver peace, possessed her luminous reign. She brooded through her stillness on a thought, deep guarded by her mystic folds of light, and in her bosom nursed a great dawn.
Thanks to Shri Aurobindo.